In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to use view assemblies. A window defines which views are displayed in what combination. And how the view combination changes by firing outbound plugs. When you create a window, remember the following points. You must embed all the possible views that can exist in the visual interface of the component in the window. To display multiple views in parallel and not one after the other, you have to define the layout and position of these views in a special view. And this special view has to contain one or multiple view container UI elements in its layout. That view container UI element is just a normal layout element, like for example a button or an input field. This container view now is embedded in the window, and all the possible views that you want to display together in parallel for this view container area are also embedded inside each area, which is defined in this view container UI element. One default view is displayed at startup for each view container UI element. Then you have to define the navigation links between the different views. Only one view is displayed in the view container area at a time. Because you can have multiple view container areas, that means you can display actually multiple views at a time, but in one such container, only one view. To replace the contents of a view container area, define navigation links between the views. View container areas can be blanked out by embedding the view, which is called empty view. We have already seen it in the previous unit. This empty view is automatically created together with the component. This empty view has an inbound plug, which can respond to an appropriate navigation event. Now, let's have a closer look at the view assembly. Following are the features of view assembly. The subset of views visible at any one time is known as such a view assembly. Navigation causes either specific views within a view container area to be replaced, or it can cause entire view combinations within the window to be replaced. Outbound plugs are the triggers that cause a view container area to contain a particular view. For window definitions in which multiple views are embedded in view container areas, many permutations of views are possible. Exactly what is displayed depends on the navigation links that the user follows. The subset of views visible at any time is known as view assembly. Now we want to practice what we learned about view assemblies. Remember in the previous lecture, I've created a Web Dynpro component with two views, and I was able to navigate back and forth between the two views. But I was not able to display both views at the same time. And this is exactly what I want to enable now. So what are the steps? To make it very clear what's going on now, I will create a second window. In the second window, I will create a new view that consists only two view containers, nothing else. And in these two containers, I will then display varying other views, like the main view, the second view, or the empty view. All right, so this is what we currently are able to do. We have main view, hit the next button, end up on second view, hit the previous button, or back to main view. One view at a time. Now this is our current window setup. There's the default plug for the window itself, and once we are in the window, we end up on main view. Main view is displayed here with a darker blue color. This is indicating it is the default. The second view is a light blue color, indicating it's not default. Now let me create another window. so we don't confuse this with the first window. Second win. So for this window, I need a new view, which allows me then to internally embed my two existing views. So I will create this new view first. To make clear that this is a view for other views, containing other views, I will call it view container. What I need to embed now is a view container element. View container element 1, we see 1 and 2. These elements are also available here in the list of elements in the layout section here. All right, this view is basically done. There's nothing more to do. It's not displaying anything if not other views are put into this view container. So what we can do now is in our second view, we add this new view container. So we created 3 views, plus we have an empty view. That means we have altogether 4 views. This one is what we need. All right, and here we see the 2 empty areas. You see that the view container view here is already displayed in dark blue, which means because it's the first one I added here, it's automatically used as a default. I right click now in the first container area and embed my main view. Then I do the same thing in the second container, and here I'm going to embed first my empty view because I want to make the empty view the default. And then I'm resizing this a bit, and we'll also add another view here, which is then my second view. You see, it doesn't allow me to add empty view again. It's taken from the list because displaying the same view 2 times, or try to display the same view 2 times in a view assembly, will lead to a dump. So now we got the second view also embedded in our view container. You see the second view here in the second area is light blue. So the initial view assembly in our case will be on top showing the main view and then showing nothing, an empty view. What I want to do is whenever the user clicks the navigation button next on the main view, this empty area should be replaced with the second view. So all what I need to do is link the outbound plug here from the main to the inbound plug of the second. We have seen this already in the previous lecture. This is navigation. All right, now our editor is a little bit uncomfortable. It always resizes to some uncomfortable default size. Just to make it clear, I move again. So if we then navigate back from the second view, hit the button on the second view, this button was called previous, then the second view should be removed. And how can we remove the second view? Only display the main view. That is, replace the second view with an empty view. So all I need to do is here, link the outbound plug from the second view, because this is linked to my second views button, to the inbound plug of the empty view. And now it's done. To make it clear again, what is our navigation structure? Here are the plugs, outbound and inbound plugs. Initially main and nothing, empty. Then I hit the button on main. I display now main and second. Main is not replaced because main is sitting in its own view area. Hitting the button on second view triggers the outbound plug of second view that navigates into the empty view. Let's activate. And now all we gotta do is refresh our application because the URL hasn't been changed. Before we refresh the application, we have to make sure that our URL knows which of the windows to display. Remember, we have two windows here, second window and first window. These are completely different windows. And therefore, we open the application. And when you look at the application here, then it says here in the interface view field, when you enter the URL, you end up in the interface view win, which means you end up in the window win. This is what we don't want. We want to end up in the second window. So what we need to do here is exchange win with second win, save, and now we can refresh the application. And when I'm hitting the next button now, it displays me both views, main here and second. When I hit the previous button, the second view is going to be removed and replaced with an empty view. That's how to deal with view assemblies on a low scale.